Greetings and welcome to Unit 2. This is where we will be discussing adult learning theory, principles, and styles. So the objectives for this unit, by the end of the unit, the learner will be able to state at least 3 principles and strategies of adult learning theory, state the definition of learning style, and explain each mode of the VARC, describe and apply learning theory principles and styles to occupational therapy education of peers, patients, and/or students as demonstrated by earning at least 4 out of 5 points for the Unit 2 discussion. We will be discussing andragogy, which is adult learning theory. How do adults learn best? We will explore in the next couple of slides more about the principles of Knoll's andragogy, and so we'll delve into that a little bit later into this presentation. We will highlight the value of the learning process, and they're explained the greater equality between instructor and learner, collaborative versus didactic. For those of you that took the survey, you may find it to be interesting that as a learner, you may learn differently versus as an instructor. So, for example, when I took these surveys, as a learner, I'm a kinesthetic learner, but as an instructor, I was strong for writing. So, some assumptions for adult learning. As a person matures, he or she becomes self-directed. Again, these are assumptions. Accrues experiences that are valuable for learning. Develops a readiness to learn that is linked to social roles. Develops a life-centered orientation to learning and becomes internally motivated. So as I mentioned earlier, these are the principles of Knoll's andragogy. So we learn through internal motivation and self-direction. We're goal-directed with a clear reason for learning. Responsibility for one's learning. There's a role and value of our prior experiences. The content must be relevant and problem-centered, and there's a general respect for those that we're learning from and with during the process. Some appropriate strategies of adult learning as defined by Delto 2012 and QOTFC 2007 is to build rapport, create relationships, respect previous experiences, use role play and simulation and case studies. This makes it very relevant to the learner. Get involved with the learner in the process and regularly provide constructive feedback. Also allow the learners to explore their own interest. We find that if we're learning about something that really interests us, we have a tendency to learn the material with vigor. Use tasks that are relevant to and immediately impact the learner's life. And I think you'll find out as you start preparing for your capstone, it's very important that that capstone be something that is very relevant to you, and it'll make the learning process so much more engaging, and it'll become you'll be excited and you'll want to work so hard on your capstone project. As you know by now, being at RMU, reflection and self-evaluation are critical in the strategies for learning. And then ask questions and foster active participation. So what are learning styles? They're defined as ways in which and conditions under which learners most effectively perceive, process, store, and recall what they're attempting to learn. Preferred learning styles, but adaptable. So you'll find that your learning style may change based on the situation, the setting, and/or the material in which you are learning. The models of learning styles include VARC, right, left, whole brain thinking, done and done, VAC, Kolb's experiential learning models, Honey and Mumford, Young and Myers-Briggs typology, and Gardner. For VARC, that stands for visual, auditory, read, write, and kinesthetic. and if you haven't taken your survey, from that you'll glean more about which out of the VARC is most appropriate for you as a learner. And again, for me as a learner, I'm definitely a kinesthetic learner. And so it'll be interesting for you to find out what your results are after you take the survey in this unit. The VARC questionnaire is from 1987. Fleming developed it 16 questions, and they're preferences, not strengths. For VARC, again, it's 4 learning modes: visual, information that is seen; auditory, information that is heard or spoken; read-write, information in words; and kinesthetic, information through experience. And just note that your preferences may change over time. The importance of learning styles and to understand learning styles is that it will foster your own learning. Also, it will help to modify your teaching methods to the learner's preference. You can match your teaching methods to the subject matter, and it's also important to use multiple methods. So what's your learning style? What's your teaching style? Take these tests. The links are linked in Unit 2, and it'll be interesting to see what you find based on your different learning styles. These are the references for today's presentation. I've also included a copy of this PowerPoint for you to have for your records. It's not a narrated version. Thanks for listening, and I'll look forward to our continued learning together in Unit 2. Thank you.